So I watched was that fifth the final installment of the Hell House LLC series. This was the worst one. It sucks because it's like the final one, and also sucks because the previous one wasn't bad. There was a lot of little elements in the previous movie that was at Carmichael Manor that was actually pretty good. And, the certain elements I wish they expanded on, which I think a lot of other fans of the series or horror in general even felt the same way. But yeah, like, this one was not good, man. Like, story-wise, it wasn't good. The acting was really bad. And also, like, with the Hell House series, every movie is found footage, and it's kind of like what makes the series like interesting, and the scares and all that stuff, because it's all, some fucker with a camera, or it's some fucker with a camera and then it's the security footage. You see them running around the house like, what do we do, Jim? Like, or the usual thing of like, oh, the laptop, no, Zoom call, that, like doing that kind of thing, and experiencing the story, like, with the characters, a little bit more intimate than previous, and also that, like, some things like the camera catches, but the person, it's like in the last movie where the girl was like holding her phone and she's like, blah, blah, blah. She like lays down back in the bed and the bed is covered in blood. And she's like, what up, guys? Da da da, with the phone. And as the audience, you're looking at it and you're like, that's what made it fucking interesting. But this one, they didn't do found footage. They didn't do found footage. It's like, why didn't you do that? I mean, I know why, because of how the story goes. It would be kind of hard to do found footage, but anyway, I guess I'll go into, I don't know, did I even do 1, 2, 3 spoilers? Like, who gives a shit, like, I guess I'll go into it. So, this movie also, like, wants you to know, like, wants as in, like, you need to know every little fucking detail from all the other movies. And mind you, I've watched all of them, but, like, they need it where, like, you have to have marathoned it right before you had watched this one. And it's like, that's okay, you know what I mean? And it's like, I was watching the movie and I had to pause and be like, who is she? It's like, wait, this seems like an important person. I look and I was like, oh, she was in like the third movie. Oh yes, this is the fifth movie. She was in the third movie where the house caught on fire, and because she was like the news person. I actually had to like I was on Letterboxd, I clicked her name and I was like, okay, she was in the third one, and then read the synopsis of the third one again. I'm like, wait, what happened in the third one? It's like, right, the news people came back and da-da-da, okay, now it went on fire and she survived. Okay, fine. And then it's like, okay. And then another woman shows up and I'm like, who is she? But like the way how they show up, it's very much like, it's me. Hi. It's me. You know what I mean? And you as the audience member are supposed to be like, it's you! But I was like, who are you again? Wait, hold on. Oh, okay, you were in the second movie. I think, right? I think the other woman, she was in the second movie. Because no one from the first movie or the Carmichael one shows up. The only thing that keeps showing up is that clown. And the other movies do the clown placement well. You know what I mean? And they also do it where, like, again, because it's found footage, so they would just be like, okay, the clown is facing this way, and then they pan over, they pan back, the clown's looking directly at you, and you're like, oh, bro, what the fuck, what the, and it's supposed to work, those scares supposed to work well, like, I forgot which one, but they were, like, in the basement, it was all the different, like, clowns just sitting there. And then the woman was just like, they're all facing one way, and the woman's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then, it's like her head covers them, and blah, blah. She comes back, and that clown is looking directly at camera. And even that person was like, oh, what the fuck? But then, like, nothing actually happens. But it's the whole point of it being like, wait. Wait, how did the head turn? It's not a real person. It's, like, it's a mannequin, da-da-da. Even in the Carmichael movie, they opened the room and it was just like it's two clowns this time, it's the one and then the other one. You're like, what the fuck? And you learn a little bit more of that and you're like, okay, You know, and I felt that was already pushing it because they're like, not one but two clowns. This one, they were just kind of like, clown, clown. You know, they just kept having, like, the clown was like on someone's lawn. You know, oh, it was like sitting there in like this carnival game. And they also like made this clown actually move, like, you know, like right in front of your eyes. Like, again, the whole point is for it to kind of be like a red light green light kind of thing, you know, like the angel, like the Doctor Who angels, where you look away and you look back and they're like different pose and you're like, what the fuck, you know, that kind of thing. Like, that's the whole point. But here, because it's not found footage and you just see someone like seeing it at the bottom of their steps and then they're like, poke poke, and then they're like, let me walk by it, oh, and then I'm gonna turn my back to it, bitch. And I turn my back to it, and then you see it behind them, like, with their hands, like, coming up to them, and it's like, that makes it less scary, because you're like, oh, okay, now it's just sentient, and you're like, oh, well, that's not, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not as scary, you're just like, oh, it's just some fucking asshole, like, dressed as a clown now, you know what I mean? Instead of it thinking, like, it's a spirit, or it's something, like, what made it move, you know what I mean? Like, you know? So the whole, like, let's overuse the clown thing was fucking annoying, you know? But yeah, like, so, again, also, I understand them not doing found footage for this one because there's, like, the main character going to therapy, and obviously you can't be recording that, like, although the doctor herself, the therapist herself, is just, like, violating HIPAA anyway, because she's like, oh yeah, you mean Steve, or whatever the person's name is, she goes, oh yeah, I just saw him, and it's like, you didn't need to name, like, your other patient. You know what I mean? Like if if the girl said, hey, you know, Bobby or whatever, I saw him, he's one of your patients, like, she could kind of go, well, yeah, you saw him, so you said it. So she'll be like, yeah, but, you know, that kind of stuff. But instead she's like, yes, Bob is my patient, and also his father, and the father for you, or whatever, you know, like, it's just like, girl, first of all, wow. And then, yeah, like I said, like, you can't be recording your therapy sessions. But even though, again, I feel like if they did found footage, it would be kind of, like, interesting. Like, maybe she's vlogging it, you know what I mean? Like, or personal journal on, like, phone, like, in case, you know, like, she wants to, like, look back at it or something. Because I think her character was, like, a reporter or something. Like, that's good, you know? Like, maybe she wants to write an article about her own personal journey, so it's easier for her to just, like, you know, do a video or something and then talk about her therapy session. I don't know. Things could have been done. They could have kept the found footage thing. I don't know. I hate that they didn't. Another thing where I get why they didn't make it found footage is, like, there was all this, like, they would just randomly do, like, flashbacks to the other movies to kind of, like, again, remind you of things that you probably should have known, but then it's not flashing back to things that important. Like, it just doesn't know what it's doing. And it's also kind of like, this is an Easter egg, and you're like, oh, okay. Then I gotta pause and, like, think about it, you know what I mean? Like this movie was, like, what, like 91, 94 minutes? One of the longest, you know, like, movies or something, but, like, but it felt so much longer because, you know, had to pause it several times to, like, look up who the fuck this is and who the fuck that is. And then I think, what was it? I was, like, probably, like, 30, 40 minutes in or something. And, like, when like, the two, like, when the two lady characters meet up from, like, their own opposing movies, and they're at, like, a diner or something, and they're, like, you know, the other person is just dropping exposition. She was like, oh, well, the family, the Carmichael family, da-da, and then the da-ba-da, but the this, and the, but, like, just dropping exposition. I swear, I was literally just sitting here like this, and it was just like dead ass, like, falling asleep. And I was like, I'm not rewinding. I kind of have an idea what's going on, you know, like, because they're dropping exposition. And then by then I was like, you know what, I am not gonna, like, I'm not going to rewind. I'm not going to, like, look anything up again. I'm just kind of, like, okay, I'm kind of halfway through the movie. I'm annoyed. Let's just get through this. And again, you thought that because, like, the two ladies got together to be like, I'm also experiencing a thing. Why are people dying around me? I also went to the house, or, like, I also went to the hotel, or the house, or the duh. I also experienced the clowns and see the thing. And what they call it, like, Abaddon eyes or something, because you're always seeing the clown, you're always seeing things that aren't supposed to be there and all that shit. You know, like, the one dude, he got killed by the clown. Another one was just like, no, fuck this shit. Blew his brains out, you know, like in a field. And again, you would think that the two of them would be like, with our forces combined, we will now, like, I don't know, go to the Carmichael Manor and, like, look up more info. But instead, like, they both just kind of, like, did their own thing. It's like they came together and be like, oh, cool, all right. Anyway, you know, but it was like, what? So then, like, the next half of the like, you know, the second half of the movie was very like, because you were like seeing one person's journey of like, oh shit, like they're at the manor or something, and like, oh, I mean, on one hand, I like that they were able to use like the same location for the manor again. That was great. But then, yeah, you'd be like, oh, okay, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what? We're at in like a house in the middle of nowhere, and then, okay, what is happening? You know, I was like, what is happening? Okay, wait. Okay, now we're just, okay, we're just, like, it just felt like that, where you're like, once you're getting a little bit information from one person and what's happening, and you're not even, like, that's another thing, because they were cutting back and forth, and because, like, their stories weren't combined, because you thought that's usually that's how you write stories. You know, like, Jesus fucking Christ. That's how you write stories. That's how you write all these, like, these movies and all that stuff. When, like, you know, people and a separate thing, and then they meet up, and, you know, like, well, putting together the Avengers, and we're all on camera together type of shit. But instead, they were like, okay, we're gonna do it separately. And again, editing-wise, there's a way to, like, edit two separate, like, there are movies and there's ways of writing that you can do separate things, and you can edit it where you are still interested in both, and both are still fucking telling a story, giving you, like, plots, and it's moving the story forward. But this movie didn't do that. It was very much like a you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus Christ, like, if Peter Jackson was able to figure out how to make the Treebeard story part not boring as fuck, intercut with, like, all the battle and shit, and it didn't feel like, you know, jarring of like, oh my god, battles, an armor tree there, battle, you know, like that. Like, you know, like, this was so, like, I don't, what is happening, you know, like, I don't know, do a split screen at some point, or something, you know, jingle some keys in front of me, because, oh my god, it was just, like, I don't think, like, I feel like, because the last movie did so well, because it was interesting, I did enjoy the Carmichael one, because it was just like, oh, okay, like, the you know, the hotel is like gone, and now we're seeing, like, you know, like, again, a little bit more of a backstory of, like, the people who owned it, cool. You could have just left it at that, or in this one, because you know this, like, final installment, who knows if it's gonna be the final installment, or whomever invested money in this person and their whole House LLC shit. You know what I mean? Like, if, like, there's, like, another thing. Or maybe because everyone hated this one. Because, you know, no one I know watched this and went, yeah, it's fucking great. You know, then it gets freaking kneecapped or something. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, like, for this to be the final installment, and this dude wanted to, like, you know, like, kind of explain everything. And a lot of times, like, in horror, like, you don't need to explain stuff. Because sometimes the unknown is what makes it scary. For fuck's sakes. You know, you have to be like, I'm connecting the dude's fucking Pepe Silva-ing the thing, and even then it's still like, you could have loose ends. You don't need to tie up the loose ends. It's totally fine. Like, this final installment could have happened at the manor again, and it's like, it could have been like the cleanup crew you know, with all the dead people. It's like this cleanup crew, it's like, I don't know, maybe like a new guy who's like, I want to film content. Like, it could be someone annoying like that, right? I want to film content. Work, boop, put on the, you know, GoPro, and they're just like cleaning blood. They're like, oh, this is gross, man. Oh, it smells. Oh God, you know, that kind of stuff. And then they're experiencing the spooky ooky and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been more fucking interesting. You know, being like, oh, we gotta get this house cleaned up because they want to show it, you know, to sell or whatever the fuck, you know, like that could have been way more interesting than like, oh, we're gonna tie up loose ends by the Easter egg, like, I don't know, man, like, oh my God, this is not good, and I was just like, man, and I didn't really have high expectations of this. I was just like, oh, cool, another one, you know, like. I don't think I reviewed the one from last time because it was just like, all right, you know? And like, the first movie was fine. I liked the first movie. I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting found footage kind of thing. Then there was a second one. I was like, okay, we're really doing this. All right. And then there was a third one. I was like, okay, they're really milking this. And when the Carmichael Manor thing came out, I was like, all right, like, come on, guys. And I was like, all right, you know what? Sea change, good, you know? All right. So I was like, fine. And again, maybe because of the hype of the last one, people were like, oh, you know? And then this one comes out, we're all like, never mind. I don't know, man. Like, this was not it. They, like, not to harp on the found footage thing, they should have just kept it as found footage, because this whole, like, I'm going to therapy, and then, like, these flashback things and all that stuff, and it's just, like, also, like, the one-note acting from everybody, where they're like, I cannot believe this is where we were at, and oh, who's dying? And, or, like, the main woman who's, like, whenever she see a ghost and start freaking out, it was just, like, it was so, like, hi, guys, I'm really good at acting. Okay, this is me having a manic episode. Like, just, like, going, like, you know, like, thinking, like, it's like that guy on TikTok, the British guy who, like, is, like, sobbing, and he's like, my children, like, that guy. No, and there's people, like, holding him back, you know, he's like, no, like that. It's that kind of acting where it's, like, so over the top, and you're just like, this is really embarrassing. You know what I mean? It's either like, and so I saw someone else who died. I keep seeing the clown somewhere. It's Abaddon eyes. You know, like that type of, like, line reading. Or she's like, oh my God, totally that guy on TikTok. Why? You know, was it like POV? You know, you just arrived at the crime scene and they found your son. No! Yeah, but she dead as that was her acting. I mean, a lot of people's acting in that movie was like that too. They're like, we have to go over there. We can't. We have to leave. Anyway, well, my alarm went off to take my meds, so it's time to stop talking. All right, bye.